Hi, Heather.
Hey Dylan, how are you?
I'm
We
good. Welcome to the
well,
Channel 8 podcast
Free Britney 2.0, right?
2.0. Yes.
2.0. We are back again with a vengeance.
So we haven't had much traction or talking from Britney the past week.
But oddly enough, we had her wedding post unarchived, right?
Yes, with the
So,
bottom caption removed about Sam's
yes.
dad.
Yes, I'm going back to it right now. And now that caption is completely removed. There's no caption on it at
Oh,
all.
it's just a naked caption now.
Yep, it's literally nothing. So it went
Mm.
away. And if you guys are unfamiliar with what we're talking about, we're referencing the post about 6 or 7 days ago that Britney put out of her wedding, of her at the wedding dancing with Sam, and where she kind of led a lot of people on goose chases, good ones though, with her cryptic caption. So then that one came down. I think it was up for almost 24 hours, and then it went down, and then it came back up a
Mm,
couple days ago.
yes.
But the number of posts on her page stayed at 3220. So that leads me to think that they took another one down. Now, get this, because TMZ has been talking about selling the house in Calabasas, which I think is because they don't have enough footage there, so they have to.
Yeah, that's exactly where my instinct to me and you are like always on the same page with like where our
Right.
instincts are going when we get news. Like,
Yeah. So I'm kind of thinking that maybe one of those posts came down because my a couple of my creator friends that like we research a lot, we're kind of like on the hunt for trying to watch what's getting taken down. And it's really hard to like unless you just have all of her posts archived, which would take forever. So
right.
but yeah,
And she
they're
she
definitely
just
messing
posts
with the
so
posts.
many she posts so many like random filler little like oh like angels and like roses and like so it would be just so hard to sift through all of those and be like which one was the one that was deleted.
And believe it or not, I do think that a lot of those images mean something, whether it's communication to other people in the industry or what,
Mm.
or us. I don't think it's necessarily us. I think those images are possibly some communication to other people. So
Yeah,
I
because
know
it was
that's interesting.
like it was very clear back before the Free Britney movement 1.0 started, and she was always saying or posting like a keyhole and things like that, and about how she would post little kids like walking on
Mm-hmm.
the boardwalk, and it would just be like, oh, just to be free, and like just stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and we cracked those codes, so that's why we're looking at it this time in
Yeah,
a different lens.
exactly. Yeah, that was one of the big things. I know I see a lot of people even that are just supportive of the movement in general, but still question on my TikTok videos, which Dylan, we welcome all theories as long as they have good intentions, right? And but I
Hmm.
see a lot of people question like, I just really don't think that she's posting at all. I really don't think she has been for a long time. And we're not here to convince people, but I cannot waver in my opinion that I do believe that she does. And one thing I do have to say, and I put on a couple videos this morning when I was recording, is if people have thought that she has not posted at all, maybe, then how do you think she was so clever to get the message out on the first movement with yellow? Because I
Hmm.
guarantee she had a part in making sure that something got out with her wearing yellow. Don't know how. She talked him into it. I mean, I have interviews from people who have apparently worked with her that say that she does sometimes get involved in the post, and it is very screened, which is why I've always said I think that they're captic or cryptic captions.
Hmm. Because she knows if
But
she
again,
just says what she wants to say, it's gonna get taken down.
yeah. So again, I acknowledge I can't convince anybody to believe that, but I like to advocate for it because I truly believe that there is a voice from Britney in there somewhere, and I think the girl is dying to be heard. I
Hmm.
really do. So that's why it gets me.
It is. It, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But anyway, so there's a lot of like little things that happen. Do you have I'm sure we both are looking at our
I
notebooks
know.
to
I have. So
yeah.
the one that keeps hitting me in the head because I always like to talk about stuff that I haven't heard of yet. Have you heard anything about Brian um being a co-manager of the conservatorship at any point?
Okay, so that came up in our live last night, and I was researching other things about the Kroll and that depot. So I have not. Did you get to do any more research on that? Because
Uh,
that's huge.
well, I was falling down more into. I was looking into the whole Jamie Lynn thing because I was like, well,
Oh,
the
yes.
because she was the beneficiary listed as of. Oh, I had it pulled
Mhm.
up. The beneficiary listed as of March 26th, 2020,
Okay.
and then yeah, I
Because
had.
that's a big deal too. If Jamie Lynn is
Yeah,
a
Jamie Lynn is the
beneficiary,
beneficiary right before Free Britney like hit the fan. Like that was like
yeah,
all in that time period, you know?
and that could show some ill intent with helping her dad or the industry get her back into a conservatorship of some sort, which really she's not out of. She's in the care plan. And then as sad as it is to say, and it's all speculation, but there's also that theory that like if they try to play the psychosis card and say something happened to her, but it really wasn't by her own hand, I mean, that kind of plays along with somebody being interested in being her beneficiary.
Right.
I mean, I would hope that's not the case, but her family never ceases to surprise me.
Yeah. And like I did you ever watch that interview with Brian on that
Mm.
podcast and when he's just so misogynistic in the way he speaks about his
Oh,
sisters
yes. Oh,
where
he's
he's
disgusting.
like he's like oh yeah they just want to she just wants to be crazy and wild and do what she wants to do but and then the host was even like well isn't that like a basic human right to just do what you want to do.
Yeah, I don't find him very interesting. I don't think he reminds me a lot of his father, not just in looks, but in the way that I think they handle their ideas of women in general. I mean, um, Jamie Spears's mother, they had her committed. So I think
Mm-hmm.
this is normal for them to think that this is what you do. Oh, a woman's crazy, or they're not
Oh,
doing what
yeah.
you want them to do because you
Yeah.
can't control them. So you do this.
Yeah. The women
Yeah.
are out of control. It's
Yeah.
like, huh?
That's what he reminds me of.
Yeah.
But
I did
anyways,
do a basic Google search on trying to find any documents or anything saying Brian was on with the conservatorship, and I could not find anything on just like the first page result of Google. So I will
and
continue
that's
to look
why
into that.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that's why it confused me at first because I had seen some court documents saying that John Zabel, stomach's growing, John Zabel and Jody Montgomery were on it, but I didn't see Brian's name. So
Yeah.
it doesn't mean though that there's not some other way. So I don't want to let that go. There was something that we talked about last night too. One of my creator friends said she had a screenshot of it, so she's going to try to find it and give it to me. But there was about probably 2 months ago that Brian shared something on his Instagram story, and it just said she is not free. So
Mm.
I'd like to see when the date was, if that was before or after the podcast, if he that was him being facetious or trying to help. But I will never forget that because I remember being like,
Mm-hmm.
whoa.
Whoa. Yeah.
So
It's like I go back and forth with that whole family. I don't even know.
I know. We want something to work out for her.
Yes.
We want her to have a lifeline there, but I'm just not sure that she does. And that's so sad.
Yeah. And just the way that like Jamie Lynn is always just constantly in a constant mode of saving face and
Yeah.
trying to make herself look better.
For some reason, I just get vibes from Jamie Lynn that she's enjoying this because this is the only time she has
Oh,
got to have any real spotlight.
yeah.
And so there's like, to me, I see a glimmer in her eye, even when she looks sad. Even on that what does it call her
Call her
daddy podcast?
daddy.
The part that I was actually hoping that was true, where she said that they had talked to the judge and like that was a sad issue, but there was still this glimmer of happiness in her eye that she was
Yeah.
there and talking about it. So I don't know. I don't get good feelings from her. I
And
hope I'm wrong.
every time she cried in that interview, not one tear strolled down her face. It was like
Interesting.
it's
Yeah,
very
that's like
like
the only time that doesn't happen is when you're doing like that terrible ugly cry. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
there's I don't know. I
right.
can't speak for everybody. But
No, I get it though. I totally get it. It's like, yeah. But yeah, that interview rubbed me the wrong way too. Just the whole thing is so tacky. Just so
yeah.
tacky.
And it was.
It's just like through the storm, like Lynn's book. It's just like
Yeah.
just tacky. Kevin's making a book.
Who? Kevin, yeah.
Kevin.
Yeah. I heard about that back when Jamie released the article. So which was I made a couple of videos on that and said, oh, okay, so these two are now tying together to make her look crazy,
So, do you
you
think
know.
Brittany was never writing a book? Do you think she's just always been saying like, "Oh, my book's coming out," just to like throw shade at all the people writing books about her?
I don't know. I guess we don't know how the narrative really went, but I do feel like it's very possible. I still have this feeling that things kind of got a little bit better right after, we all thought she was free. And then they snapped her right back in place. So I
Yeah.
think she may have thought things were going to be okay, started some projects and then realized that things were not as they seemed. The industry knew that all along.
Mm-hmm.
Her handlers, they knew it all along. They knew what they were doing. I mean, you heard the audio. I played audio from one of the court dates yesterday on one of my videos. It's going around on a lot of videos right now, where um, is it Sam Ingham is talking about how she's going to be put on a care plan, and Brittany speaks up and says, "But I have to agree with it."
Mm.
And oh, just the passion in her voice, and just in that one part, she was just like, "I have to agree with it, right? I have to be the one." And Judge Penny sounded really nervous. It was weird. She sounded like she knew that Brittany was not quite getting probably what she expected. There was just wavering in her voice when I listened to it. I was like, this doesn't feel right. I think she
Ugh,
knew.
Brenda gets on my nerves too. Just from that, do you remember a while ago, from when some court documents leaked out and Brenda basically said, "Who is she to demand me of anything?" Do you remember that?
No.
Oh my
Oh
God.
my gosh.
I remember reading that and being like, "Oh my God, they like," and there's so much like redacted, so much like, and then Brenda goes on to talk about, "So how much has the residency made this year?"
Oh
Like
my God.
like, and it was when she was actively working in Vegas.
Wow. Oh my God. There's so many crazy things that have come out. That reminds me of, there's leaked emails that have come out, which I know those had already been leaked. The ones like from Lou Taylor to people, but those are circulating again real hard on TikTok for sure. Um, and then Rosengart, Perez kind of dragged him, I'm sure at the advice of T-Con, through the grave and saying, that he was just taking advantage of Britney. And so he's come out and said, how he's doing some pro bono work basically for her, like not charging for certain things,
Yeah.
which I don't think makes him any better, because how I don't know. I'm confused about him. I'm really
Yeah,
confused
me
about him right
too.
now.
I mean, he
But
seemed to be such a knight in shining armor, like when we first got
mhm,
introduced and she was doing, Project Rose, and like, we all were like, "Oh,
mhm,
okay, that has to be him and he's our savior." But then
mhm.
after just months and months of radio silence from him and nothing happening, and
Yeah. But
it's
see, there's this too. We have to take devil's advocate. So yesterday I was in the thought of, he's a lawyer. So he knew what they were doing behind the scenes. He knew that, if they were kind of shifting this, and he was just letting her go along with this. But then I actually kind of woke up with a new feeling, and I was like, he's a human too. And there's a possibility that the other lawyers took advantage of a loophole that he was not expecting. And there's a possibility that he's quietly helping her in the background. We don't know for sure what's
hmm,
going on. You know what I mean?
it's very
So we
possible.
have to be open to all of these possibilities, especially because I feel like TCON, teen conservatorship, if nobody knows what that means,
Hmm.
um, is just aiming and looking for anybody to be their fall guy right now. And I guarantee, if it's not Rosengart, it's going to be Sam, current husband.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
somewhere down the lane. Um, let's see. Okay, so no, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, no, I always love the devil's advocate take, because I like to
Hmm.
open up the brain and try to get more flowing in different directions. So I like
And that's
that.
what it does, is it makes you start thinking about, even if it's not something you agree with, it at least starts making you twist around ideas and think about, options. Because whatever we're thinking so far is not getting us to the finish line just yet. So
Right,
we
but
have
we're
to
close.
continue.
We are
We are.
so close.
We are. And that's why they're coming so hard and throwing so much at us.
Right. Do you want to talk about
Like,
the pig heaven and hog heaven? And
yeah, we can.
because
I actually was just editing a video on that.
I
Go ahead.
love that. No, you said some stuff about it last night, and I had to write down pig and mud because I remember she made that reference a long time ago.
Hmm.
Um, but
Okay. So let me pull it up because I don't remember did you get to write down the dates? If not, I can find. I know one of them is deleted. The Jack in the Box post is kind of where this started, the recognition of this whole hog heaven or any kind of pig thing for me.
And that was December 12th.
Okay. So that was 12, and then I believe the other one I'm going to talk about is in June. Okay. So the Jack in the Box pose, which that's what people recognize it for now, is the whole Jack in the Box thing. There's a part in there where she says hog heaven. And so actually one of my first responses to that was, is she trying to tell us where she's at? Because I was wondering if she was kind of like trapped somewhere, or I don't know. I don't know there was just a lot of things. And I was, kind of thinking, let's try to find it. But she's from the South, and there's a lot there's a lot
Right.
of hog heaven barbecue restaurants. Let's just put it
Right.
that way. So that kind of got lost in the mix for me. But then yesterday, since TMZ released this new home being sold in Calabasas, I said my friends and I, we were scrolling back in the feed and trying to see if they had already deleted um, a lot of posts from the new house, because I think they're trying to use her old feed to control the narrative. So they're taking out posts
Right.
that did include the new house. So anyway, so on the way back, we find this post where it is in the new house and her hair's kind of cut short. And I read the caption and I'm like, guys, she says pig heaven in there. And I was like, there's, I know Southerners, I know us. We have slang and we stick to it. But because Britney is a special case, I don't think that's for nothing, right? So the fact that there was like pig heaven and hog heaven, I was like that's got to mean something. And then moved down to the story that Sam released yesterday, and he just so happens to be opening an old card in this, I guess it's a partnership or whatever, right? That has pigs on it, and all of it just clicked to me, and I was like, there's something about pigs. I don't think it's communication for us. It's either jabs for them, I think, at each other,
Mm.
or just communication in general. So those are my thoughts on it. Now I want to hear what yours are.
I don't know what to think because we were throwing out like how Paris and Miley have pigs, and then if you go back to
Oh
the
yeah.
August 2nd when she was petting a pig in Hawaii,
Yep.
um
Mm-hmm.
and she took pictures with it, and like, sorry,
Mm-hmm.
I just like looked because I'm like staring right here. One of these headlines from August 3rd, 2021 says Channel 8 on Instagram, geez, I've never seen a pig like this before, quote Britney Spears. And I was like, whoa, Channel 8,
Are
what?
you serious? Oh my
I
gosh.
know, I got chills. I
No
was like,
wonder I
whoa.
saw your face looking at something and I was like trying to just talk.
I'm
I
sorry.
was like, something's wrong. I
No,
was like,
it's
just
just it
keep going.
so caught me off guard because I'm just typed in, Britney Spears with pig references, and the third result is Channel 8 on Instagram. Geez, I've never seen a pig like this, quote Britney Spears. Ugh.
Yeah, yeah. She's got some pictures with it. And yeah, and again, so it could be something that's to more than one person. It doesn't have to just be to Sam. It could be Miley or Paris. I mean, that's interesting. It's
Um,
really interesting thought.
and then did you see the current husband posted stories last night, basically talking about how
I'm
he,
blocked.
oh
So if people
yes,
don't send it to
oh
me, I
my
don't see
gosh,
it. So the last thing I saw
he
of him was the pig card. That was the last thing
he
I saw.
made two-part video last night talking about how compassionate he is to animals. And if you didn't know this, he's such an animal lover. So he goes into this story about um one of the first dogs that ever touched his heart was when he was a young boy, and he befriended this dog, and he just it was in 2006 that this dog passed away, and that he just wanted to come on and tell people. And the first thing I thought was like, why the hell are you telling this story now? It's very out of context, very strange to be.
You know why he is, Dylan. You
Yes.
know why he is.
Yeah,
You wrote him that letter,
I
didn't you?
did. I
You wrote him
did.
an email.
I
And
did.
ever since then, he has been trying to, literally, it was what, a few days ago? Ever since then, he's been posting all about his animals.
Trying to prove how much he loves animals
He's
because
obsessed with
we
what
see
people
through
say.
it. We see
Mm-hmm.
through that. And we were talking about it on our live last night. But just like the way those animals look in every video with him, and like the juxtaposition between how they look when they're interacting with Brittany is completely different. So yeah, I
Mm.
ended up writing him a message saying like, "Hey, I'm just a little worried about your animals. They look terrified when they look at you. Do you take care of them properly?" Like,
And that was literally a few days ago. And ever since then, he's been putting out so many videos about it.
yeah,
I wonder if he's the reason that you were TikTok.
I know. So I keep getting banned on TikTok randomly, and it's always the most random times. It's usually when I'm multi-guesting, and it doesn't make sense. And like last night, I was able to linger around because it didn't kick me out of the live. I was able to still read comments. I just wasn't allowed to use video access. And the consensus in the comments were just like he was an angel. He wasn't saying anything bad. He didn't say any. He's just always so positive. And I watch on TikTok what I say very well. Like because I know how
Mm,
that app is. Like here we have a little more freedom with what we can say, but on there I'm constantly like, past 55-hour husband and,
yeah,
rhymes with Boo
you
Baylor.
are. You're
Like,
good. Yeah. No, you are really good over there, especially.
and
So,
like people were noticing that too. And I was just like, oh, what am I doing wrong? And I don't think I'm doing anything wrong. I think I'm being targeted by someone who just doesn't like it.
well, let me follow that up with probably some support on that thought because I'm friends with a creator on TikTok called Zach DeBrat, and he lives in the UK. And so I guess he put out a couple videos, I don't know, a few weeks ago about Britney, and they got some huge traction. And apparently, since he's out of the country, he can't really get like a formal cease and desist. I don't know if that's true or not. I need to look that up.
Uh,
But not that I'm saying he would not be telling the truth. I'm just saying.
right, right.
But he did get a letter from the team, apparently. Um, and it did end with a paragraph. He's given me permission. I will be putting it on a video at some point. He's they told him at the end, you would hate to lose your account, wouldn't you? So
Mm,
it's very possible that,
I
they're
hate
not
that. It's
happy with some people. And
such a power move. You would hate
yeah,
to lose your
definitely.
account. It's so like
Yeah.
big villain in Hollywood.
And who knows? And it could have just been like he said when he tried to email the person back, it said invalid. So I don't even know how you do that if you use some kind of email and then it what self-destructs or something. I don't know. I don't know. Is that
I don't
possible?
know how it works. Is it like
So
a Snapchat email? Like it just
I don't
disappears?
even know.
I
I
don't
don't know
know.
about that stuff. I'm 39 here.
Yeah, we're just doing the best we can. It took us like 20 minutes just to get this show
Just to get
started today
this thing
because I
started
couldn't
today.
figure out what was going on with the
Is the
updated
rain.
Zoom.
Well, it's raining for me anyways.
I would love to see rain. It
Really?
doesn't rain much
Hey.
over here.
Oh, yeah. But you get a lot of snow, right?
300 days of sunshine, but we get, yeah, most of our precipitation is that.
Snow. That's pretty cool. I had some people email me and I can't find the email, so I'm trying to find it. Somebody got a hold of, I guess, can you do this? The deed of somebody's house? Can you get a
Oh
copy of something
wow.
like that? Is that
I
even
think that's
possible?
public record, I believe, once you pay for it.
Okay, so then the new house,
I mean, it shows my, sorry to cut you off, but if you,
no.
I was Googling myself one day and like going through public records, and I found, my all my past rental properties that I've rented
Mm,
from. So it's
yeah,
it's out there. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
definitely. Okay. Well, then that would make sense because apparently the current manager is that Michael Caine
Hmm.
signed on that deed for the Calabasas house. Is that normal in the industry for a manager to be
Whoa.
on a house? And apparently it was right before or right after the wedding date. I think it was right before. I'm going to Google
Hey,
this
this is
while
the
we're doing
first
this.
I'm hearing about that.
Okay. Yeah. So I've been getting a lot of emails about it and I thought it came up on the live at one point. And I know I saw a video on it. So I know it's starting to get around on Instagram, probably more than TikTok. But um, so I kind of had this theory that if I don't know what happened with the old house. I don't know that. I guess they never sold it, right? I guess it
No,
officially never sold.
yeah, apparently not. But I thought someone had said that they saw where it was sold.
I
I
know.
I
It's
might
so
be thinking,
confusing.
yeah, because
Did Brittany
am I
sell Thousand Oaks house?
I feel like I just remember an article saying it was sold because I remember Jeffrey was looking at it.
It sold for $7 million. Oh, that was March 17th. Or I mean, sorry, that was March 2017. So that can't be right. No, it does. It says Brittany sells Thousand Oaks home for $7 million in 2017. I thought she moved in at 2015. How is this? I'm confused
Hmm.
right now.
I'm so confused.
Okay, maybe I shouldn't talk about this.
Right? It's I don't even know, like, because we've had our
But
funny
something
theories
is not right.
of what's going on in the new house, and we're like we've jokingly said like, oh, Sam's here with whatever girlfriend he has of the moment. And
God, I
the
know.
more I
Like, where's
joke
he gonna
about
live
that,
too?
the
Mm-hmm.
more I joke about that, the more I was like, ooh, is that what was happening? Like,
Ooh, for real. Oh my gosh. And where's he gonna live? Oh, I see Kitty. Where's
yeah,
he gonna live? For real, because
yeah,
that's where he was living.
it's like they're
I
all
bet he's sad
scrambling.
because that was his gym. That was his favorite gym.
Oh,
That's where he's always working out.
oh,
Anyways. Um, okay, and so Miley, I guess we can cover that one too, because that was on New Year's. You were
yeah.
definitely more perturbed by that at
I
first,
know.
right?
A lot of people did not agree with me, and that's totally okay. I opened my eyes and I was like, okay, you guys are right. But I didn't I was rubbed so wrong by the way that, Miley Cyrus seems to, ever since she signed on with Larry Rudolph, she has always changed the when she performs Party in the USA, she keeps the Jay-Z line, but she would always change the Britney line in the second verse to something else, except for during the Free Britney movement. The first time she said, free Britney, free. And we were all like,
Mm-hmm.
whoa, wild. But it was also such a headlining thing at the time to show support for Britney in that
Mm-hmm.
time. But it bothered me now that it was like Paris, who's under Lou, and Miley, who's still under Larry. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why is she changing it to the Paris song was on that's hot, like, instead of saying Britney?
Mm-hmm.
It bothered me. A lot of people didn't agree with that, and that's okay. It's okay.
Well, it's not that I didn't agree, but my first reaction was, oh, you had to do that. It
It's
wasn't
like
a
PR.
choice. Yeah, it was like
Totally
they
see
probably
that.
told you because Paris was on there. And honestly, I could see Paris being like, yeah, you need to say my name.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
I do I do think that Miley probably didn't have a choice and she had to do that. But it still feels like a dig possibly from Paris's standpoint. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like just coming and making sure that it was, how fast they could probably remix that song. Like there's been all this weird stuff with the post and the wedding and Paris and her role with Britney. And I just feel like this whole thing with the remix of the song is a dig because wasn't this on the one that was sung at the wedding? Stars Are Blind?
Yeah.
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 So something doesn't feel right about it. Unless that's their kind of communication. I don't know about it, which is very possible.
It just seems
So,
like classic Paris promotion to me. Like, ooh, she's gonna start talking about it a little bit before, and then, you know,
well, it's definitely a dig from Lou Taylor, right?
yeah, yeah.
So,
And we talked about
um,
that too, about how, as soon as Lou signed on with Paris, she's like on top of the
mhm.
world again.
Oh God, I know.
She's everywhere.
So one thing that I thought was really important that came up in the live last night, and I decided to make a video on it was this whole thing about there's a new court date coming up on January 11th. I know we don't have much time, so I'm going to try to make this fast. January 11th of this year, and it is still to try to get Jamie. It's his what a deposition for him to try to get paperwork that is supposed to have been turned in months ago about this whole spying thing that happened with Kroll and Black Box. And I don't know if this part is true, but I did cite an article that said apparently that he did not want to show up because he had to do it in person and Brittany did not. And
Mm,
he didn't think that was fair. So I thought that was disgusting. I hope that's not
God.
true. But what's really interesting is I did look into Kroll, and there's an article, and I have put the link in my link tree. I don't know if we can put it anywhere on here. I don't know. I'll find somewhere. If not, I'll put it on YouTube and my TikTok. You can find my link tree. Anyways, Kroll is one of the worst, like of the worst PI companies. They just dig the dirtiest, tape stuff to walls and behind things and try to get all kinds of dirt on people that are, trying to get divorced and whatever. So, anyways, that's the company that started working with Jamie to spy on Britney. And they decided to develop an AI project just for Britney so that they could record all of her most intimate moments and just her in general, and then create an AI like deep fake of Britney so that she would never be needed physically again
Mm,
should she refuse to be part of whatever they wanted her to do.
mm.
So I find that whole thing really disturbing. And it is also really weird because apparently this whole deep fake thing is supposed to be such a conspiracy. And we, this is literally in the court. Like these are documents that are supposed to be produced to the court about their
Mm.
project and what they were trying to do to her. So I find that very disturbing,
I
really
always thought it
disturbing.
couldn't. I was always like, maybe it's not a deep fake Britney because her hands go in front of her face so much and there's never distortion until I see videos of Paris Hilton and her friend doing the Tom
Mm-hmm.
Cruise deep fakes, and he specifically did something the other day where he was putting his
Yeah.
hands like ooh, ooh, ooh,
Oh,
and his
yeah.
face wasn't messing up. The AI filter was staying perfectly on, like, and
Yeah.
then that was really eye
You
opening for
know,
me.
you know what? You know how I've not been able to talk some of this quote unquote conspiracy stuff on TikTok right now because I'm trying to get a lot of positive attention and support for her. But since it's a little uncensored, we should probably do an episode where we cover a little more of that stuff. And I don't mean we have to go really down the deep hole, but we should probably explore more of some of the research that we have done, which is extensive on
Mm.
the deep fakes, green screens and stuff, because I think people are really interested in it. And
And
that's,
it's and
for
we've
me, why I have not covered it.
and there's so many examples that we've both seen and
Oh,
pointed
yeah.
out, and like
Hardcore.
it's hard not to. But
Yeah.
2017 was such a pivotal moment in her Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
2017, 2018.
Mm-hmm.
After that, her posts just became more and more grainy, more filtered, more like
Mm-hmm.
watered down, just like,
Yeah.
and this is, you could just scroll through and look at the aesthetic of her grid on Instagram. It's just
True.
totally different. Like she was a little more curated then. She was doing the runways. They were
Yeah.
nice. It's just
Yeah.
been kind of filtered,
That's
watered
sad.
down. So
And
the
that's why
AI
I was
thing is,
fighting the psychosis so hard. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, yeah. I was just saying that the AI thing makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so this has been fun. We
It
said
has been fun. And there's still so much more to talk about. So
I
we'll save
know.
it. So, Brittany, if you hear us, we're here for you. Free
We are
Brittany
here for you.
2.0.
If you have any
Everybody's
information,
thinking of you.
call our tip line at 720-515-1915.
Well, I appreciate it. We appreciate everybody hanging in there. And let's just keep making noise, power in numbers, right?
Absolutely. Let's get her free.
Yeah, for real, real.
For real free.
All
Bye.
right, bye. See you later.